start out with a little quick introduction to how glass blowing works. What? That's okay. At any minute, somebody else is going to come in, and they won't be able to hear you. They won't be able to hear me. So I just use the microphone all the time. So everything that we do here starts out in our glass furnaces. The glass furnaces are the machines where you see the doors close. There's two of them, one on each side of the studio. If you look up on the big screen, there's a diagram. That's what the furnaces look like inside. So in each of the furnaces, there's a big ceramic pot. In that ceramic pot is 1,000 pounds of melted glass. We keep the melted glass at 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 1150 Celsius. And at that temperature, the glass has the consistency of honey. So if you can imagine a giant crock pot full of honey, that's how our furnace looks like. When we want to get the glass out to make stuff, we have a bunch of steel pipes. Those are called blowpipes. And we dip them into the melted glass like you're dipping into a big jar of honey. We dip them in, twirl them around. A little bit of glass sticks to the end of the pipe. The pipe itself is hollow, so when you blow, the ball of glass blows up like a balloon. If you want to make something larger, we dip it in, blow a bubble, let it harden, and then we dip it in a second time or a third time. We just keep building up the glass in layers.
Does the pipe get hot?
What?
The steel pipe, does that get hot?
Not nearly as hot as common sense would lead you to believe. Once we get the glass out of the furnace, it only stays soft for a little while. So we do whatever shaping or blowing we can while it's hot and soft. And then when it starts to get stiff, we go to the second type of furnace, and that's called the glory hole. The glory holes are the round furnaces with the doors open. Those have no glass in them. We have a little diagram up on the big screen. When glass gets stiff, we hold it in the glory hole for a little while. It gets hot again, it gets soft, and then we can continue to shape it. All the glass that's in those furnaces is clear glass. It has no color. We buy our colored glass separately. We buy it in the form of these bars. We call these color bar. When we want to make a colored object, we blow a bubble of clear glass from the furnace. We heat up a chunk of the colored glass, and then we coat that clear bubble with red or blue or green, whatever color we want the object to be. We have a little video. We'll show you how that's done. Could we play color overlay?
The color in glass comes from adding various materials to the mixture of raw ingredients called batch. Most of the colorants are compounds containing some kind of metal. For example, adding cobalt to clear glass creates a deep blue. Tin and antimony can be used to create white glass, and gold chloride can produce a rich red or pink colored glass. Colored glass is melted in furnaces, just like clear glass, and then is usually rolled into bars for storage and easy application. In order to apply color bar to a bubble, we first need to preheat the color to approximately 950 or 1000 degrees Fahrenheit in a color oven or garage. Once warm, the color is then picked up on the end of a punty rod using a little bit of clear glass as a support. The color is then heated in the 2300 degree glory hole to soften it and make it malleable, while another artist creates a small bubble of clear glass on a blowpipe. Once warm, the color is dropped over the clear bubble, and then using a variety of hand tools or the steel marver, the color is rolled back over the clear in an even layer. This process is called dropping color, or creating a color overlay. Depending on the project, that bubble is then usually gathered over with clear glass and blown into the final form. The finished product may appear to be all made from colored glass, but when viewed in cross-section, we can see that there is only a thin layer of color sandwiched between many layers of clear glass.
So the reason that we apply the color in that manner is so that we can have any color we want anytime we want. If we were to fill the furnace with green glass, we could only make green things. If we coat each piece individually, we can make a pink thing, a blue thing, whatever we need to do. You guys have any questions? It's called the Marver. That's the name of the steel table. Roll it against the steel table to shake. So for those of you who came in a little later, the woman standing at the center furnace, the glory hole, that's Annette Blair, our guest artist. She lives and works in Australia, in Canberra. She's a graduate of the Australian National University. And after she works here, her residency, she's our guest artist this week. She's going to go and teach at the world-famous Pilchuck Glass School here in the Northwest. Glass blowing is a team sport, so she'll be assisted by our resident team of glass blowers that work for the museum. So right now, Ms. Blair is letting that bubble cool and stiffen a bit. And we're going to go over to our furnace and coat it with more clear molten glass. Behind that door is a big ceramic pot. In that ceramic pot is 1,000 pounds of melted glass. All glass, when it's really hot, looks orange. The orange color you're seeing is the glow from the heat, not the color of the glass. Now she's checking it for bubbles or debris. When she sees something in there she doesn't want, at this point, we can yank it out and snip it off. now Ms. Blair is shaping the glass using a tool called the block. The little scoop-shaped tool is made out of wood. It's stored in a bucket of water. As long as the wood is wet, the tool doesn't burn, and it doesn't leave any marks as she shapes the glass. So now Ms. Blair's going over to the furnace again. She's going to dip that bubble into a big tank of molten glass and coat it. Each time we dip it into the furnace and add another layer of clear glass, it's called taking a gather, Gather. Oh, is the furnaces ever turn off? Yeah, once every 6 or 7 years. Yes. Can we put up the furnace diagram again? So that ceramic pot degrades over time. Hot molten glass is a very strong alkali, and it eats away at the pot. And so maybe every 6 or 7 years, the pot starts to break down, and then we scoop out all the glass, turn it off, put a new pot in, and turn it back on. Thank you. You'll notice that one of the glass blowers is seated to the left of the workbench. He's the person that's going to be blowing. He's going to blow through that steel tube, the blowpipe, and inflate the glass as Ms. Blair shapes it. This arrangement where one person blows while the other one shapes it is very typical of the Venetian style of glass blowing. Starting 1979, a number of Venetian masters came here to the Northwest and began teaching the young Americans. And since that time, we work pretty much, not quite exactly, but pretty much in the style of the Venetian glass blowers. So this sculpture that Miss Blair is making is going to be kind of shaped like an oil can, an old-fashioned oiling can. And over on the bench on the left, Sarah Gilbert, one of our resident glassblowers, is making the handle. So this, the body of this oil can is going to be green. It doesn't look green, I know, if you're looking at it right now. What you're seeing, that orange color, is the glow from the heat, not the color of the glass. If you think about your own homes, if you have an electric stove, the burners are gray. When you turn them on to cook something, they get hot. They glow orange for a little while. Turn them off, they cool down, and the orange glow disappears, and you see the natural color again. Same is true with the glass. So we coated the initial bubble with a layer of green glass, and you can't see that now, but when this cools down, it'll return to its natural color. Does anybody have any questions? Yes. Yes. I haven't seen her make these yet, so I'd be guessing. Handle is probably about 20 minutes away. When she shapes the glass on the marver, that steel table, it does two things to the glass. It shapes the glass, obviously, but it also cools it down. So the parts that she rolls against the table will be cooler, and when we blow into it, the parts that rolled against the table will expand less. The parts that didn't touch the table will stay hotter, and they'll expand more. So we can control, to some extent, how that blows out. We put up some of Miss Blair's artwork up on the big screen. So these are works by our guest artist, Annette Blair. And she works with a lot of surface decoration, glass powders, enamels. So when we make these things here in the hot shop, they'll be plain, one uniform color, and then she's going to enamel them when she returns to her studio. She likes to experiment with different textures and surface treatments on her glass. So now she's squeezing the glass and making a sharp crease in it. That crease is the place where we'll be able to break the glass away from the metal pipe once we're done shaping. The tool is called the jacks, and making that notch is called jacking it down. Hi. Break it away from the metal.
That's what he said. I'm looking at the examples, and actually, these are additional decorations that are applied
Yes,
later.
there's a combination of glass enamels, glass powders, and also she sprays hot metal onto them, make a little crusty. Yes, well, it's the whole style. Working in big teams, having one person blow while the other one shapes it. Those are all characteristic. Blowing glass sitting down. The Czechs and the Germans blow glass standing up. So each country does it a little differently. But we mimic the Venetian style here. Yeah, I mean not everybody does that. This is her design, and she's leading the team. There's usually one glass blower that leads the team, and they're called the gaffer, Gaffer. So she's the artist and she's the gaffer. Sometimes people design glass and have other people make it. But then she both designs the stuff and makes it herself.
So the design's not just the final product, but how you get there. Or is it?
Not necessarily. Um, I mean, if you were a designer, you may not know super a lot about the glassblowing process. So the person who's gaffing it would look at your drawing and figure out how to make it.
And I assume that each piece is unique because of that, right? So more or less unique because you can have similar but not identical pieces of
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she could make the same thing if she wanted to, but she doesn't. But
particular mixture of glass or it's just regular glass mix.
we use a special glass that's specially formulated for this type of hand glass blowing. Uh, the glass that goes into a bottle is formulated to harden very quickly, so a machine can make 1,000 bottles in an hour. Our glass is formulated to harden slowly, so we can shape it by hand. When they're uncomfortable. No, I mean, if things get big and hot, she'll put a glove on, but
Most of the time I move in here, they have it.
she's comfortable that she doesn't need it.
Do you blow glass?
I used to. Okay, when you heat up the glass with a torch, it allows us to focus the heat in a particular place. When we put it in the big round oven, the glory hole, it kind of heats it up generally. When we heat up it up with a torch and then go back to the glory hole, the heat doesn't dissipate. Both temperatures rise in parallel. So when she comes out, the torch part is still hotter than the rest of the object. So we're going to transfer the glass now from the rod as originally blown on, the blowpipe, to a second steel rod called the punty. The second steel rod will act as a temporary handle to hold it from the bottom while we shape the top. When she feels that bond is strong enough, she'll take her tweezers, dip them in water. She'll drip a little water where she wants the glass to break, give the pipe a tap, and off it'll come. There's the water, there's the tap. So now she has access to the opposite side, and she can shape that. No.
So are some of these just furnaces for heating the glass, and
There's two kinds of furnaces, basically. There's the glass furnaces, the ones with the doors closed. Can we put up the glass furnace diagram? So that's where we keep the big reservoir of molten glass. Yes. The glory holes are the round ones with the doors open. Those have no glass in them. They're just a hot chamber for heating and softening the glass while we're working. All the glory holes are the same. All the furnaces are the same. You notice that her assistant is holding a wooden paddle in front of her hand to shield her from the heat. The heat that comes off the glass is radiant heat, like an outdoor heater. It heats the first thing it strikes. So if we put the paddle between the arm and the glass, the paddle gets hot and the arm doesn't. We're going to blow a little air into the front end to make that shape a little fuller. The tool that Gabe is using, Gabe is the man in the black and white hat, is called the Soffietta. It means little puffer or little blower. So this oil can shape that we want to make, we want the opening at the top to be off center. So she just closed off this traditional opening. And we're going to switch it. We're going to switch it again to another puntee. When we use the torches like that, we can focus the heat in a particular place. We can make just the part that we want to shape extra hot and extra soft. We can shape that part without disturbing the rest of the object. The torches, the furnaces, and the glory holes run on natural gas, and the torches run on propane. So now Ms. Blair is going around the corner to our powder booth, where we're going to sift powdered colored glass onto the surface. We have a camera in the booth. That tray is full of powdered colored glass. Go back out and melt some of that on. And we're doing this to give the surface a little rougher texture. In addition to the powders, Ms. Blair is going to paint on the surface with glass enamel to get more variety of color. He's our visiting artist.
Sorry?
Annette Blair is our visiting artist. She's the woman that bleached the team.
Oh, I see. I see. Is she the one blowing the glass at the moment?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is she from Australia?
Yes, she's from Australia.
Oh, cool. Right. And how long will the visiting artist be here?
Till Sunday.
Oh, till Sunday. All right. How long has she been here for?
Started on Wednesday.
Oh, so it's just a few days.
5 days.
Oh, wow. Okay. The artist is only here for 5 days. And then does she go to another kind of?
She said she's going to go and teach at the Pilchuck Glass School, about 80 miles north.
Oh, oh, where is this?
It's called the Pilchuck Glass School. It's started in 1971 by the artist Dale Chihuly, and it's a school where you go and take seminars rather than it's not a school you graduate from. So it's about 80 miles north of here, about 3 miles east of the I-5. It's in the middle of a tree farm. Can we put up a picture of Pilchuck? So this is the Pilchuck Glass School, and that the structure with the angled roof, that's their hot shop. So it's in the middle of a Weyerhaeuser tree farm. No, no, it was started by him, but it's a private nonprofit. Yeah. Alive? Yes. He's still alive. He's in his 80s now. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, he has a studio in Seattle. It's I don't know. Are you familiar with Seattle geography? It's underneath the University Bridge. It's on Lake Union, underneath the University Bridge. It's not open to the public. It's a private studio, but that's where it is. So Ms. Blair, Annette Blair, our guest artist, is melting on some of the glass powders to give the surface a texture. No, it's white. White. Yes. glass that's wrapped around the end of the metal pipe is fragile. If we allow it to get too cold, that glass can crack and the whole thing will fall on the floor. So periodically, you'll see Ms. Blair take the torch and warm it up so it doesn't crack. Program. I'll walk you through making a simple object. Okay, the glass itself is made out of three main ingredients: sand, soda ash, and lime. Sand is the bulk of it. It's mostly melted sand. The soda ash is sodium carbonate. It acts as a flux and lowers the melting temperature of the sand. And the lime is calcium carbonate, and that stabilizes the mixture chemically. Those are the three main ingredients. Now we're going over to the powder booth again. We're going to sift on more powder-colored glass. So it's just a flour sifter filled with powdered colored glass. So we'll put some on, and then we'll go back to the glory hole, the round furnace, and melt it on.